Good morning and welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago, while Open Bible High School celebrates their 50th anniversary and in style. With us we have the principal of the Open Bible High School, Ms. Carol Charles Austin. Good morning, how are you doing?
Good morning, I am fine, thank you.
50 years.
50 years and going strong.
And going strong.
And going strong.
So before we get into the school itself, let's talk a little bit about this particular event. I understand it's called Dining with the Stars.
With the Stars, right. It's a dinner to commemorate 50 years of dedicated service to students, to teachers, to the community. And we take it very seriously. We're very proud of it. The fact that there are many private high schools that would have opened probably after we did and have closed their doors, but we continue. And we think we need to celebrate it. So we're going to be having a dinner, as you said, called Dining with the Stars on the 30th of September. And it's going to be a gala affair. It's a fundraising dinner because, as I said to the staff, we want to take this school to another 50 years and beyond. Yes. So let us raise the funds to ensure that we have the amenities that we need to have to do so. But the high school is really near and dear to my heart. And I really am reaching out to past principals, to past students, and to other stakeholders to support us in this venture. So as I said, the dinner is going to be on the 30th at 6 o'clock at the Oasis Gardens, 101 Long Circular Road in San Fernando. I'm sorry. And we're really looking forward to it.
So you would have collaborated with Dr. Errol Joseph, Mr. Victor Zafrin, and persons of that sort to help.
Yes, those are the names. Yes, Dr. Joseph is in fact the chairman of the Education Committee. Mr. Zafrin was a former principal. Yes. So I am, I think, 11th in the line of principals since 1967. And interestingly, our founder, who was a missionary that came to Trinidad in the 60s, and he had a vision for the establishment of a high school. And as I say to people, visionaries see beyond. So at the time, nobody else saw the importance of a high school as part of the Open Bible community, but he did. Dr. Donald Bryan is his name, and he's going to be joining us for dinner. And in addition to him, our first principal, who unfortunately has passed on, his family, the Kelderman family, will be joining us on that day. And it's going to be really an awesome time in the presence of the Lord to meet all former principals and maybe to share stories, to look at best practices and to see how could we take the school forward. We hope that you will be there as a former teacher
yes.
of the school. So we're reaching out to all stakeholders of the Open Bible High School. Come join us on the 30th.
How do you feel to be the one in the seat to usher the school into this next realm?
I never saw myself as being important in the process, but as Dr. Joseph once said, it's a relay race. And I have a background in sports, so I understand the concept of a relay race. One hands over to the other. And I think it's just God's will that I am in the chair at this time. And it's an unusual appointment because I came back down south from Port of Spain to help my parents. Left everything in Port of Spain and said, okay, God, I'm coming back down, you do what you will. And next thing I know, God is called to interview for the position. So it had to be God's timing and God's plan. And I intend to do what He's called me to do. And in the end, we'll see a good result.
One interesting component, as you mentioned, dedicated years to the community.
Yes.
One interesting component there is the chapel, the mandatory chapel service that you all have on a Friday. Tell me how that has been instrumental in impacting the community.
Interestingly enough, as Dr. Errol Joseph will always say, and Mr. Zafrin, they've met past students. And invariably, the first question they ask, do you all still have chapel? We see our students coming from all different walks of life, from different backgrounds, different homes. And chapel service on a Friday is probably the thing that binds us all together because the entire church goes over. We bring in speakers from different professions. Sometimes it's a pastor, it's somebody who deals in the health sector, education sector. And they impart knowledge to the students. And at the end, if it's a pastor who's doing the session for that day, he'll do an altar call. And we see children giving their lives to the Lord. And we hope that they would go home to their parents. And we've seen a few cases where they'd go home to their parents, members of the community, and spread the word. And as I've said before, and I continue to say, we have about 522 children at this school. But I don't necessarily see them as students. I see them as souls. Because the vision of Dr. Brian was that we spread the evangelization effort broadly. And we don't only have to evangelize in a church, we can evangelize in a school. And that's one of the things that chapel does for us. That's one of the things we do at morning assembly. That's one of the things I do all day. Put your shirt in your pants, no white socks, get your hair cut. Because it's preparing them for life and for life beyond school. And it's a wonderful experience.
Have you been able to see students under your care through that transformation process?
Yes, there have been the ones that come back, you know, the virgins that went out with the oil, some of them came back, some didn't. There are those who would come back. I have one particular story. There was this young man, name withheld, who, he wasn't a troublesome student, but he did nothing. He didn't seem to care. I think he had just lost hope. So one day I had to pull him into the office and I said, what do you want to do in life? So I have this form that I've drawn for them that says, I want to be on this end, and then an arrow that points back, these are the subjects that I need. I said, complete this form for me. What do you want to be? I want to be a soldier. I said, what subjects do you need to be a soldier? He said he didn't know. I went behind his back, I did some background checks, and I found out what he needed to become a soldier in the army. I was given the basic minimum, but I didn't tell him that. So I embellished it a little bit. You need all of this. And for his first interview, I wrote him a letter of recommendation. And maybe about a year later, he came back into the school in full uniform.
Soldier uniform.
Yeah. And when he put his hat, it was mind-boggling, it was awesome, it was a very emotional time for all of us. Because ordinarily, a teacher will write him off. He's not performing in class, he's cutting classes, he's not responding to anything, but he got his life dream. And he comes back, and he came back to say thank you. And that's one of the defining moments for me. And if I can see all of them, I don't want to lose not one. If I can see all my students do better, do something in life. You don't necessarily have to come back and say thank you, but I want to see you on the television. I want to see your name in the newspaper, and, you know, something in a good way.
One thing that, you know, personally I noticed at the Open Bible High School, and just generally in schools, you know, a lot of the times is that they come from broken homes.
Yes. Yeah.
So would you say that the caliber of teachers that you have they been able to be role models?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. God blessed us with caring teachers. And I mean, I can say that without reservation. He has blessed us with caring teachers. Teachers who would take, we had one particular teacher, and we only found out when he resigned to start his own school, God bless him, but he would take money out of his pocket and buy students lunch. He sees somebody with a broken shoe, he would take money out of his pocket and do it. And there are teachers who would do that. And they would support. A teacher came to me, she said, Miss, we need to support a particular student. The teachers are willing to do this, or we're willing to do that. I said, let's do it. And we took him through his Form 5s. So if you don't have a caring heart, you wouldn't think of that. And we do have teachers, we do have caring teachers. God appointed all of them to the position. And so the 50th is a way of commemorating them too.
Yes.
And saying we thank you for your effort, we thank you for your labor of love.
Tell us a little bit about the pass rate, and is it that the focus is just on academics, or would you say you will inculcate some sporting activities? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
I need to go to my statistics.
Sure.
We are rebuilding our sport program. In this year, we started a netball team, just probably in the last couple of months. And already we won a major event with young ladies who knew nothing about netball. We take our students to track and field meets. We don't win anything, but that's okay. It's not about the, getting up on the podium, but, competing and doing the best that you can do. And I always say to my students, I'm not preparing you to do a CXC exam, I'm preparing you for life and beyond. But we prepared them well. So if you permit me just to read.
Sure, of course.
In terms of performance, we had, I think it was 85 students writing the CXC exam this year. We had an 86% pass in English, 77% pass in human and social biology, math 73%, office admin 94%,
yeah.
Principles of accounts 70, principles of business 92%.
Really
so
good
we
grades.
are performing,
yes.
Our students are performing.
All right, well, thank you so much for being
yes,
part of our program, and best of luck. And
yes.
the number to call 657-7449,
and also a cell number 370-4001.
All right.